both manufacturing and non-manufacturing cost as product cost, which means, and the second difference we learned about that is majority of the product cost of based on ABC is coming from manufacturing overhead and some of the cost coming from non-manufacturing sources. So let's just talk about that. So direct material, direct labor, and shipping are excluded because Baster battery system cost can directly trace these costs to produce customer orders. Like we defined it over there as well, because direct labor and direct, manufacturing overhead, it's easy to trace, easy to calculate. So no need to deep dive into different costing methods. Only thing that we talked about is manufacturing overhead. So that's why we talked about the variable costing method, that we talk about the relevant costing method, that was why we talked about the manufacturing, absorption costing, this kind of stuff. All these costing are to calculate manufacturing overhead. So manufacturing overhead is based on like POHR we calculated over there. Absorption costing, we also calculated based on variable costing, we also calculated based on relevant costing. But now we are calculating manufacturing overhead based on ABC, activity-based costing. But activity-based costing include overhead cost as both manufacturing and non-manufacturing. So there is no doubt that direct material and direct labor will be a part of product costing, but we don't need a separate costing method. Why? Because it's easy traceable, it's easily, you can calculate, that's it. So we don't need any kind of special method to calculate that. So the ABC team, they have found, or they have categorized each stuff into 5 activity. See, now recall our discussion when we talk about what is cost pool, what is the activities. So we talked about that the cost pool is addition of all the activities. So I talk about there is a bucket and all costs are coming from different direction to this one. So you see in this bucket of customer orders, right, indirect factory cost is there, factory depreciation is there, salaries is there, we see marketing salaries is there, selling expenses are there, right? So we create a cost pool, customer order cost pool, right? So simple, the vertical is the cost pool, the horizontal is the segregation of this activity into 5 activities. So let's just talk about this. So normally the ABC team, they calculate all these percentages. So what we have done right now, let me explain you in simple language. So we categorize the manufacturing and non-manufacturing overhead based on activity. So we categorize on 5 activities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then each process is divided into 5 categories. So this indirect factory wages are divided into 30% customer order, 30% design changing, 20% order size, 10% customer relation, 10% other sustainable activity, right? So this is how we, so where this 30% came from, where this 30%, where this 10% came from, that is right now not the requirement, because these are calculated based on, different, mathematical models, input from, employees, management, there are whole teams, researchers there, analysts there. So they decide that, okay, this indirect factory wages should contribute 30% in customer order. So lucky you will be given all these percentages, right? In advanced studies on management accounting, you will be required to find out where these percentages are coming from, right? But at this beginning level, you would be given all these percentages. So let's just explore that. So what are these? These are all manufacturing and non-manufacturing overhead, non-manufacturing costs, and this is manufacturing overhead. So we have given these activities and their percentages. So let's create cost pools. So where this 1.8 million coming from? So we know that the total value of indirect factory overhead is 6 million and 30% belongs to customer order. So 6 million multiplied by 30, answer is 1.8 million. So where this factory equipment depreciation coming from? So we know that 33.5 million and it is 20%, it's given. So see, 30%, 20%, 0, 0, 30, 30, 30, 20, right? We just multiply it with their value, right? So what is cost pools? So this is the cost pool. Customer order cost pool is 4.52 million, right? So what is cost pools? Cost pools consist of different, buckets in which from different sources cost is coming from, right? So for example, customer orders cost pool is 30% coming from indirect wages, 20% coming from factory equipment depreciation, and then 0%, 0%, and then we have 30%, 30%, and 30 and 20%, right? So this is called the cost pool, right? So can you tell me where this 600,000 is coming from? So we know that order size is 20% of indirect factory wages. So if we see, sorry, customer relation is 10% of indirect factory orders. So you see, indirect factory orders are 6 million, and 6 million multiplied by 10% is 600,000, right? So if you see that here, the 6 million is divided into 5 activities, and all the activities values are in combined based on all these costs. Total 4.52 million, design changes 3.04 million, order size 5.2 million, customer relation 3.08 million, others 6.16 million, right? So essentially what we have done, we have basically divided the total overhead into 5 activities, right? Customer design, customer order, customer relation, others, right? And different cost activities, and we have the cost pool. Now, the first stage allocation is to find out the value of each activity. Here we go. Lucky you will be given these percentages, and all you need to find out the values here. Values are given here. So lucky we are at the stage of finding the total cost pools. Here we go. So we have found out the cost pools here. Customer order, design changes, order size, customer relation, and others. So if you understand the first stage allocation, I'm going to be setting up the breakout room. All you need to do, find out the cost pools, the value of the cost pools of travel, pickup, cost service, and others. You are required to read all the question here and then solve it. So for those who are, okay, let me just clear the mess here. Meanwhile, please take a picture. I will be setting up the breakout room. For those who are watching online, I would be pausing the video and I would be resuming it after the breakout room activity. Here we go. So please accept the breakout room activity. Okay, so we just finished the breakout room activity. So let's compare the answers. So what is the cost pool for travel? It is 6
So
to cost pool of travel. So it is, the total is 628,000, which is 0.628 million or 600,000, 628,000. The cost pool for pick and delivery, it is like this. So basically you multiply the total driver and guard wages, 50% of the 720,000 answer is 360,000. So this is like that, right? So now you understand the concept of cost pool, right? So cost pool basically involve the cost of all or some of the manufacturing and non-manufacturing overhead, right? So for example, this 628,000 is a sum of manufacturing and non-manufacturing costs. Some are 0% and some are 60, 70, and 50%, right? So this is the concept of first stage allocation. Now, finding out the activity rates. Simple. You have the cost pools divided by their activity rate. Simple. For example, here, let's continue our ABC example. Our Baxter battery example, sorry, not ABC, Baxter battery example. So the ABC team determines that Baxter battery will have these total activities for each activity cost as 10,000 customer orders, 4,000 design changes, 88